Hi FPL fans, welcome to FPL Team Talk. In this video we're going to have a look at some budget players, some cheap players. A lot of you looking to bring in those premiums, so we're going to have a look at some of the options in midfield, defence, attack as well for cheap players. Under 6 million, there's one that we put over the top. Let's have a look at them. Before we do that, don't forget to press that subscribe button. Keep in touch with our content, press the like button. Let's have a look at the first set of players that we've got on show. Okay, so the first set of players we've got on show is looking at goal. I've not moved from Robert Sanchez. Jason still's a backup. I would say over the weekend we have seen Foster come in for Watford. So he now becomes a real nice differential and possibility there as a 4 million backup playing goalkeeper at 4 million. That's just a no-brainer for me. Even if he loses his place, you could still have your 4.5 Sanchez. Maybe Ramsdale if you're feeling a little bit brave. But at the moment, Sanchez, Brighton on a roll. Their defence is still really solid. And their fixtures coming up just look brilliant. They've got Crystal Palace away, Arsenal at home, Norwich away. Look a really nice set of fixtures for those three. It could be then that you dovetail with the likes of someone like Foster if he keeps his place in the Watford goal. But for the short term, Robert Sanchez just still looks like the best option that we've had since game week 1. And I'm not moving from him. In defence then, guys, we know about Tino Livramento. He's come in and what a great job he's done in that Southampton defence. He's taken the place away from Kyle Walker-Peters. He has some good attacking potential. We constantly talking about him moving further up front as well into that right midfield. He's got the possibility of playing. He just looks more and more accomplished for such a young defender. Southampton's fixtures have been quite tough. They've put in some really good performances. And what's been really encouraging is those 2 clean sheets. Home to West Ham, away at Manchester City. So maybe they've turned a little bit of a corner. They've got other players in that back four that are playing well. Salisu, Romu is also an important component in that side that's keeping them quite tight. So with that, they just look more settled, no injuries. And I think the potential for clean sheets is there. Livramento does offer attacking returns. He had a great ball into Armstrong. Perhaps could have done better with his effort on goal. He got caught under his feet. Didn't really test Edison. But he's got Wolves at home. We know how sort of goal shy they are at the moment. Difficult fixture away at Chelsea. I wouldn't expect any returns for him. But 4.1, you could certainly bench him for that one. Then they got a home to Leeds and a home to home to Leeds, home to Burnley. 2 really good fixtures. You'd have to say there's potential certainly for 2 clean sheets. Any more than that, you'd be really surprised. But for 4.1, a playing defender, Livramento, he just looks like a great value. And all these cheap players are to enable you to buy the better premium players elsewhere in your team. Luke Ayling, he took a knock on Friday, came off early. I'm hoping he'll be fit for the next game. Bielsa was really sort of bigging him up previously. And also just said how important it was. He didn't know what he was going to do if he wasn't going to be able to play centre-back. We'll wait on news for him, but Leeds fixtures still remain really good. It is a worry that they've got so many defensive injuries that's really undermining them defensively. They're just conceding. They haven't kept a clean sheet all season. Ayling himself has scored in that first game against Manchester United. 4.5. I do think if they get 1 or 2 players back, that Leeds defence could be a lot better. And those fixtures, those fixtures are good. You got West Ham. Tough game, I'd say that is. Watford, Southampton, Norwich. I don't think you can really ask for 3 better fixtures than that for Leeds. And with Phillips playing in that midfield as well, you've got world-class players shielding them. So 4.5, I still think he's a good option. If we move into midfield, then we've got, we know about Gray, how good he's been. He nearly scored against Villa at the weekend. He's still got 3 out of the last 4 games. His expected goal involvement per 90, 0.33. It isn't as high as perhaps some of the others, but he is returning more. It's just a case of he's just taking all his chances. Every chance he gets, he seems to take. His fixtures looking good against Norwich at the weekend. Then he's got difficult on Man U and West Ham. But for that price again, he's nailed on. He's playing well. And Everton side that did have that blip at the weekend, but they're not a bad side still. So he looks really interesting. One that really interests me is Gallagher. It's just the Palace and the fixtures really that struggle. They've got Brighton at home, and we know they're quite tight. That's a grudge match as well, so not sure how that's going to pan out. And then Leicester and Arsenal, so that's quite I don't know. I like Gallagher. I think he's on set pieces. His XGI is fantastic, and he looks like a really good player. I'm just unsure about where Palace are at this moment in time. What sort of side are they? Have they tightened up? They've got players coming in to sell. Edouard coming in. Elise, Eze's obviously still out. Zaha obviously the focal point. he looks good. They've had one really good result against Spurs. I would want a bit more reassurance before I jump onto Gallagher. But at that price, again, if I'm looking to bring in Fernandes, Salah, Son, people like that in midfield, I'm going to have to root around for those 5.6s, and maybe he's the one to go on because I know he's going to play. Traore, we all know about his XG. He looks great in every game. It's just his final ball and his inability to finish. He was a bit unlucky against Brentford. I thought it was a great shot. They hit the bar, took a little flick. But again, Wolves fixtures look good. But then you would have said that at home to Brentford rather. Away at Southampton, just don't know what's going to happen in that, do you? You just don't know. I mean, Wolves could easily go there, score a couple of goals. They'll be looking for a reaction after that disappointment at the weekend. But then Southampton themselves have gone away from home, got a brilliant result at Man City, in front of their home fans. Tough game. Then they've got Newcastle that seem to be a side you would like to target at the moment. And then Aston Villa away, and that's going to be another feisty Midlands derby. So Traore is another 1.6 minute. I do like him. Do I trust that he's going to get the point to finish? I just don't know if I can. History tells us that unless, you know, suddenly he's developed his composure and finishing skills, and I'm just not seeing it. He's not going to convert those XG, those expected goals into actual goal involvement. Salah looks brilliant. We've known about him since the start of the season. He did really well. It was Norwich away, so I think we have to bear that in mind. But then you've got Newcastle at home. So again, possibly a good game to target. So I think out of the four of these players, he would be the one I would bring in. Feels like a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, but we also know he's on penalties. Watford are on a bit of a great result bouncing back off of that. Newcastle just seems too good to not miss. But longer term, Leeds away, Liverpool, it's a difficult one. I think what you've got to bear in mind with all these midfielders and cheaper players, you know, we got to make sacrifices to get those more premiums in, and you're just not going to get them. You're just not going to get a quality guaranteed point scorer every week. That's why they're not premiums. So out of the options here, I think Gallagher looks really nice. I really like him. Gray's obviously got the results. So for me is possibly for an extra 0.3, depending on how tight your budget is, would be one that I would be looking to go for. Up front we have the exception, which is Tony 6.3. So we looked at 6 million and less. 6.3 for Tony. He's worth throwing in there. He had a great performance at the weekend. 0.65. He's on penalties as well, and how well did he take that penalty? Anything to say about Tony? His fixtures look horrendous for Brentford over the next 4 game weeks. They've got something like Liverpool this weekend, and they've got Arsenal, and it looks, as well as Brentford have been performing defensively, it looks so strong, and he's nailed on up front. I'm just not sure I'll be prepared to back a newly promoted side against some of those top 4 teams that he'll be playing. Adam Armstrong's an interesting one. Scored in the opening day of the season. He's got he should have potentially had a penalty against Manchester City. He did get the assist against Newcastle, so he's chipping in. Thing is with Southampton is their fixtures are churning. They've got Wolves at home, which you would think they would be desperate to get that first win of the season. Then they go to Chelsea, which is a game perhaps you would like to bench Armstrong for. Then after that they've got Leeds at home, so they do have a nice set of fixtures coming up in the medium term. And then we move to Dennis, 5.2. Again, he's saving 5.2 to 6 is a lot of money, 0.8. His XG is around about the same. We know he scored goals. Watford, great fixture at the weekend. I think I'll be tempted to go down a Dennis route. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave any comments below. Hit that subscribe button. Remember, you can always change your mind later on. And in the meantime, good luck.